Okay, good morning. This is the Monday weekly weather briefing for the week of August 17th. My name is Alec Butner, lead meteorologist at the National Weather Service in Wakefield. Really just looking at what has changed over the past 24 hours here. The rain chances have increased for this evening, and we also now have a marginal risk for excessive rainfall for much of the area, as well as a marginal severe weather outlook as well. And I will show some more details here in a minute. Looking at the highlights for today and the week ahead, we're watching another round of scattered showers and storms that'll develop later this afternoon and especially this evening into tonight ahead of an approaching cold front. Damaging winds, frequent lightning, and locally heavy rain are the main threats with these storms later today. Also, another hot and humid day as well. A heat advisory has been issued for much of northeast North Carolina for heat index values right around 105 or higher. Still hot into Virginia as well, with heat indices exceeding 100 for many areas today as well. We do see the temperatures cool down just a bit as we get into tomorrow and through the remainder of the week, at least just a little bit, maybe closer to average for mid-August. Dry for the middle portions of the week, but showers and storms do return again late in the week into the weekend. And for the marine side of things, really looking at fairly benign sub-small craft conditions through late this week. First, that heat advisory, again, mainly northeast North Carolina for heat indices of 105 to 109 or higher for these areas. Looking at the weather pattern and the outlook for the upcoming week, we do have that cold front off to our northwest today, which will approach and cross the area tonight and early Tuesday morning, bringing that next round of shower and storm chances. Drier and slightly cooler weather returns for Tuesday through Wednesday before we see increasing rain chances again Thursday, Friday, and even into the weekend as another round of fronts begins to approach the area. For the severe weather outlook over the next few days, today is really the main threat area we're watching. Marginal risk for most of the area along and to the west of I-95, with a very small sliver of southwestern Mecklenburg County included in a slight risk for severe storms. Damaging wind gusts are the main threat with any storms today. Otherwise, Tuesday and Wednesday look to have sub-severe storms, and mainly just confined to northeast North Carolina, especially areas near the Albemarle Sound. More details on today's severe storm potential. Again, looking at mainly a bit later of timing, 5 to 11 p.m. is what we're expecting for today, later compared to some of the previous days where storms formed a little bit earlier in the afternoon. Again, with these storms, damaging winds and locally heavy rain are the main threats we're watching. Low to no tornado threat, and hail threats today. Breaking down the threats again, that highest chance of damaging wind gusts, 60 plus miles an hour, really far southwestern parts of the forecast area, Mecklenburg County, down into areas outside of our forecast area, central North Carolina, and portions of western and southwestern Virginia as well. Again, maybe some small hail is possible, but not expecting any large hail today, and tornadoes are not expected. Looking at the heavy rainfall threat as well, the Weather Prediction Center has placed at least a good majority of the area in a marginal risk for excessive rainfall, much of central Virginia as well as eastern Virginia as well. The Maryland Eastern Shore and far southeast Virginia and North Carolina are not included, but still certainly couldn't rule out some heavier rain showers there as well. But these portions of central Virginia did see some pretty significant rainfall last night, Sunday night, with localized areas of 2 to 4 inches. In some areas even saw in excess of 4 to 5, even 6 inches across portions of Chesterfield County last night with the storms that came through the area. So we will be looking at least the isolated potential for some flash flooding, especially in the flood-prone, poor drainage areas or urban areas where any of these heavy showers or storms do set up. Looking at the timing, again, really an evening threat you can see is to some of the selected cities across the area. The precipitation chances do begin to go up as we get into the later afternoon and the evening time frame of today. Looking ahead as well, on the left is the forecast through midweek through Wednesday night, with mainly just focusing on the rain that falls potentially later today into tonight. As we get into Thursday and beyond into the upcoming weekend, looks to become unsettled again. Could be widespread amounts of even 1 to 2 inches plus, depending on how things set up later this week into the weekend. Back to the heat. Really looking again at today, where we have that significant threat near the Albemarle Sound and across northeast North Carolina for 105 heat indices or higher. Coming down a little bit Tuesday and especially Wednesday, with at least a little bit less humid air beginning to work into the area. Start to see it come back up again as we get into Thursday, but then by the time we get to Friday, the widespread clouds and potential rain around may keep temperatures just a little bit lower than previous days. And kind of breaking down the highs and heat indices through midweek again today, widespread 105 plus across North Carolina, with even some areas in Southeast Virginia getting close to 105. But much of the forecast area at minimum upper 90s to lower 100 heat index this afternoon. A little bit of a cool down again as tomorrow and Wednesday. Slightly less humidity, slightly cooler temperatures. May still come close to that 105 heat index near the Albemarle Sound in North Carolina, but the rest of the area should be upper 90s, mid 90s with heat indices tomorrow, and even cooler as we get into Wednesday. And then breaking down some selected cities across the forecast area as well. Really that main heat today, and then maybe inching back up as we get into Thursday before a bigger cool down Friday into the weekend. Our rain chances for this evening, and then really fairly dry until we get into that late Thursday and then Friday and beyond time frame where things become a little more unsettled, as we had talked about. For the beaches, rip currents today are low at all area beaches and are expected to remain that way through at least Wednesday. Could become a little more unsettled as we get later into the week. And looking at the temperature outlook and precipitation outlook for this weekend and into early next week as well, above normal temperatures are still favored for a majority of the area for this weekend and into early next week, with above normal rain chances, precipitation chances as well for much of the at least northeastern and mid-Atlantic portions of the U.S. On the tropic side, thankfully things are fairly quiet, at least at the moment. On the Atlantic side, tropical activity is not expected during the next 7 days. For our marine users, a fairly benign, typical summertime pattern is taking shape today through much of the week, with some localized higher sea breezes as we get into the late afternoon, evening hours of each day, but generally remaining sub-small craft each day this week. For the rivers and the bay and the nearshore waters, again, maybe some localized heavier wind gusts as you get into some of the evening and overnight hours, but otherwise fairly benign through midweek. And a similar story over the outer coastal waters as well. And with the waves in the bay and the rivers, mainly 1 to 2 feet throughout the week here, and similar in the coastal waters, maybe just 2 to 4 at the outer coastal waters. And that is it for the Monday weekly briefing. Our next briefing will be at 11 a.m. on Thursday.